Hi there, I'm board certified dermatologist and skin wellness expert, Dr. Cynthia Bailey, and I'm here with my beautiful son, Frank, who is 29, almost 30, and we're going to talk about skincare in your 20s and 30s from the guy's perspective. So, Frank, tell us what you've been using in your 20s.
In my 20s I'd say right now is the most complex my skincare routine has gotten, which, yeah, it's saying something from when I was a teenager, because, well, I guess I did do some things when I was a teenager. I had some bad acne, but anyway.
Yeah, but you were good with your acne meds.
I tried. So nowadays, I use Calming Zinc, and I will use this once a day, just at night, because at that point, I've probably had a long day, got a greasy face, I might have had sunscreen on, so I really want to get it off. And this is actually, I'm not gonna lie, before I was using this and when I was younger, I used to think it was not very effective, but I had never used it. And then I started to use it and I was like, oh my gosh, this, like, it's got oatmeal or something in it.
It does.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
It's calming, because oats are naturally calming.
It is, and so it really does, it gets the gunk out of my pores, and it allows me to go to my next step.
And it delivers 2% parathione zinc to help fight seborrheic dermatitis, which some of us in the family suffer from. Thanks to Mom.
Yeah, it's not as bad for me, I feel like, but you would know better than me, actually.
We suffer from seborrheic dermatitis in our family, thanks to my dad and me, and I gave it to both of my children. So.
And it's just my skin. I don't actually know what's going on with it, because when things happen, I just think, oh, that's part of life. That's just what my skin does.
It's just dry, flaky skin. But in fact, it's seborrheic dermatitis, maybe a little here or a little here, and it's genetic.
So, yeah, after I use this Calming Zinc Bar, I use a moisturizer. So this is, keep in mind, this is my night routine. My night routine is a moisturizer of some kind. I mean this one, actually. I just don't. Which
you describe as the silver one.
Yes, I do.
He needs the silver one.
Mom, can I get some more of that silver moisturizer? I don't, yeah, pretty much. Apparently it's called the Daily Moisturizing Face Cream. And I actually do use the oily to normal skin, because I have pretty oily skin. So that's that part. And at night, that's honestly it. Yeah. I mean,
you don't use green tea or anything?
No, okay. I don't use green tea. I intentionally keep it pretty simple, because I feel like I've told you this, but this may be news to you. But so my previous career, I was an actor, and I had plenty of auditions where they would call me in to be a young dad. And I was 26 years old at the time, or 25. And the problem with that is that I don't look like a dad. I also, at least this is my opinion, and I also, when they got me in the room, they would kind of look at me like, what are you doing here? Because I looked young. And it was because while I was in the correct age, I didn't look like the age they were expecting. And I think that's because of the great skincare I've had for, my life. And so it was kind of like, I could either get a lot of sun damage and age myself and age my skin for this career, or I could change careers or just not try to go for those young dad roles. And so I decided that one. I decided to change the careers and not go for those roles. Yeah. So that's my nighttime. I guess I'll add that I use the chapstick, this little guy. Natural Lip Balm, that's what it's called.
Lip balm, chapstick's a brand.
Yeah, well, so I use this thing, I carry this with me all the time. In fact, I have one in my jacket. And before I go to bed, I'll put that on, and that feels good. Feels good.
Certified organic, because what we put on our mouth matters, especially when we're precious to our mother.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
So in the morning, my routine depends. If I'm not having to shave, I will just splash some water on my face. Unless it's the summer, then I will put on some sunscreen. And if I'm gonna be active, I'll put on something like Solbar or Citrix, whichever the hardy duty.
Yeah, water resistant.
Heavy duty.
Yeah, water resistant one.
Yeah, but if I'm not going to be doing a lot of physical activity, I'll just do an invisible sunscreen.
The sheer strength invisible, yeah.
Right.
Do you use the one in the shake thing?
No, I've never had that, partly because flying with it could be tricky.
Oh yeah, right. Because Frank lives in Seattle and flies home, so he has to have TSA friendly, and he's always carry on rollerboard.
Yeah. So the invisible one's perfect because it's itty bitty.
We need to ship you one.
Sure.
So
sure.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say no to that.
Okay.
So, but if I am shaving, then the routine changes. I use an electric shaver. I used to use an actual razor blade, but that just took too long. And I'm a typical millennial. I want things done fast. So I have an electric razor, and I'll use that, and then I'll get red down here. Guys will probably be able to relate, but I'll get red down here and a little bit up here. So I feel like I need to just make sure I get any bacteria or anything out of there. This is my imagination. I don't know if this is legit, but it actually, the Calming Zinc Bar really helps to reduce the inflammation.
It does.
And so I'll do that just down here, because if I do it up here, I'm gonna get dry early in the day and my skin will be dry and that taut feeling.
Because you don't use a moisturizer.
Yeah. Except from what I'm about to say, the next step, which is after I use the Calming Zinc Bar where I shaved, I will use this Booster Oil Omega Enriched face. I never read these names, and I'm using this a lot. I never read it. So this one, I use the orange one. That's how I know to identify it. It's actually called Omega Enriched Face Booster Oil.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's because it's got Omega Enriched oils in it.
I figured as much. So I use this. I will take a couple drops, put it in a upper spot of my palm, 5 drops typically, 4 to 5, and then I'll start to, this is important why I'm going into this detail, is because then I'll take my fingers and brush it up to the fingertips, because that is how you are gonna like apply it to get it in there, is on the fingertips. Oh yeah,
because you had a beard.
Yes, these are the habits I got from when I had a beard, because even if you just trim your beard, you want to hydrate the skin. There's a big,
the beard druff thing.
Yeah. There's this
dry, flaky skin, beard schmutz thing, and
And there's the misconception that you just are taking beard oil and just rubbing it on the hairs. Like, sure, but it's not really getting into your skin. So you want it on the fingertips, then you want to rub it in.
Because that's where the seborrhea is. It's on the skin. It's not a hair rash, it's a skin rash.
Yeah, and I know you were the one that taught me all those, and so now I can't help but champion those, because I have seen things online where guys are explaining how to use beard oils, and then I see them do like this, and you're good. I'm like, no. As a millennial, I think it's really important to have that skin underneath the beard, not flaky.
Yes.
And the Omega Enriched is really useful. So that is morning and night.
And then the sunscreen goes when?
The sunscreen would go at the very end, because you want it. Did I pass?
I just want to make sure it's in there.
Yes, at the very end of everything.
No, he does live in Seattle and Vancouver, so and the weather is sometimes cold.
Still
sunscreen, gotta wear it.
Yeah, still get the exposure. I work at an office job, so that's also indoors.
Yeah, all day from sun up to sundown, pretty much 5 days a week.
Especially in the winter.
Yeah.
But the shower, I should mention the shower real quick. Yeah, I use Naturally Best Bar. Is that?
Yeah.
Naturally Best Bar soap. So I use that one.
Yep, naturally made, good for dry and sensitive skin, which we have in our family.
Which is fantastic. It's really good. So then I've used the Salute cloth for years, because she's like, Frank, try it. We're gonna start to explore this product. And I was like, okay. That was a lot of my younger years, was being a guinea pig. I'm not gonna lie. I tried a lot of these products before you guys knew about them. So this was a staple for me for a long time.
Because of?
Yeah, I don't know what they're called, but I get little bumps on my arms.
Keratosis pilaris.
That thing.
Yep, or chicken skin. It runs in the family. I gave it to both of my children, so he has the little bumps on his arms, and they get red. And
I used to pick them a lot too, but we'll get to that in just a minute. So this actually applies on here really well, and when you get down to the last little bits of this bar, it's kind of hard to grip. So a trick that I learned is you just put it on the cloth, you fold the cloth, and then you You just rub the cloth together and eventually you will wear away at the remains of the bar. And that was a little life hack for myself. In the shower, I also get not in the shower, but in general, I get red bumps on my scalp and they're really sensitive. And
Pityriform folliculitis, which is that fungal acne that's really a yeast acne, and also kind of we're prone to it.
Yeah, I'm definitely prone to it. For the longest time, I just thought that was life. She told me it's not. So foaming zinc cleanser, I use this not every time I'm in the shower because I'll shower probably once a day or every other day. Hey, you know what? Part of being a millennial is being conscious of your use of water.
Okay.
So that's my argument.
Okay.
But the real thing is if I work out, if I exercise and I get a sweaty face, I will just put a little extra in my hands, rub it in on my scalp, and then use it as a face cleanser. That works out really well. I quickly will wash this off though so I can breathe while I'm in the shower, and then I'll leave the rest of this in for a little while because you told me to do that.
Yeah, and this will sting the eyes if it runs in your eyes.
It sure will. After the shower, dry off, and I will use this glycolic acid, the body lotion, and that is what I use for the keratosis pilaris. All right, I was almost there. And that, I just take like a little drop of it. Well, it's a thick lotion, so a drop equivalent, and just rub it in. I remember once you told me it's kind of like car grease, so you really got to rub it in.
Well, you want to rub in your moisturizers. Yeah.
And that's the mentality I have every time is to really rub it in. And it's really died down because when I was a teenager, it would be really bad and I would pick it a lot. So
that's helped.
Yes, and the very last thing I do is after I'm done in the morning and I'm leaving to go out for my day, or if I am done with the shower and my hands are dry or whatever, I will use the dry skin hand cream. I use this a lot. I probably would take it with me everywhere.
It's not TSA friendly though, it's too big.
It's not, yeah. Well, actually.
Is it?
3 ounces. 3 ounces is the limit.
Oh, TSA friendly.
There we go.
A discovery.
So yeah, that's my routine. When I say all of that, it feels like a lot. But when I do it, it's not a lot, especially compared to what Misha does. She's got a lot more steps.
Misha's his sister.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks, Mom.
Good job.
Thanks.
So, there you have it. The skincare routine of my beautiful millennial son, who's 29, approaching 30. So this is the skincare in the 20s and the 30s. Well done, Frank. We're going to talk about that sunscreen. Yeah. If you found this helpful, we love a thumbs up, we love a subscribe, we love a share, and if you want to see the products that Frank uses, they're at drbaileyskincare.com. Thank you. That's a great skincare routine. The other thing we're going to add to it, though, little baby steps, is more sunscreen. Yeah! Sheer strength spray, like a little maracas. You can put it on your face, you can put it on your hands and arms, and Mom's gonna be so happy.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.